Hello and welcome to today's 5-Minute Friday. I run these sessions as an opportunity to share really interesting ideas amongst the HR and wider community. Now, with the success of the vaccine rollout, there's an increasing level of optimism that we're going to be returning to some sort of normality in the coming months. And many businesses and business leaders are now wondering, what will this new normal look like? And top of mind is, what will our future work model be? How do we enable employees to have the flexibility that so many of them wish to have, whilst protecting the work experience, the culture, and the ability to collaborate? And the big tech companies are often associated with being amongst the most progressive. And so I'm really grateful that Ben Kibbe, the market leader for Northern California for Mercer, who is talking to the big tech companies and small tech companies all the time, is joining me today to share what they're up to. So Ben, welcome, and thank you for joining. Tell me, so what is what's everyone doing?
Yeah, thanks, Chris. Thanks for having me here. This is topic, if it's not topic one, it's topic 1A on every leader's mind right now as we deal with our clients, tech, as you mentioned, throughout Northern California and the West Coast. I think what we're seeing is a real spectrum of different approaches, right? So we've got some organizations that have said quite publicly, work from wherever you want indefinitely. Spotify said that not too long ago. Square and Twitter came out and said that, early on in COVID days. We know another fintech, smaller organization that not only said work wherever you want, you can't come back to the office because we've closed them. We've given up our leases. We don't want people here. You're going to work remotely. Now they'll still get together, I think, on a quarterly basis, small enough organization that they can still pull everyone together from wherever they are going forward to try and keep that culture alive and to try and maintain that collaboration that leads to innovation and customer success in their minds. On the other end of the spectrum, you've got some organizations who are saying, Netflix being one, not the only, but whose CEO came out and said, working remotely is killing us, right? The culture can't hold up. We can collaborate short-term, but long-term, this is not going to be successful. And we want people back in the offices. He's not the only one. They're not the only organization that said that. So it'll be interesting to see as they come through with vaccines, especially in the US, picking up steam, how quickly they can come back. And then how quickly do people really want to come back? And can they come up with some sort of hybrid model that works both for the employer and for the employee? I think the cat is out of the bag to a certain extent, right? There's the idea that in many organizations, the reason we succeeded, the reason big tech had those wonderful campuses with all sorts of perks and everything else was they wanted people there. Right? You had flexibility to go catch a kid's ball game or go to the doctor, or if you weren't feeling well, work remotely that day. But for the most part, you were expected to be there every day. Employees in some cases have really gotten used to not being there. Some want to get back, absolutely. Others are like, you know what, I can do this from wherever. Why do I need to be close to that big campus? Can I work remotely? And some organizations are going to give them that latitude. Others aren't. So, they may give them a couple days a week, but to really pick up sticks and live 500, 1,000 miles away, come to work, once a quarter, maybe, that's not going to be the model for everybody. So there's a real mix out there as organizations are trying to sort out, how do we keep that culture, keep that business success, that collaboration, the customer delivering new products to our customers that they love, yet still maintain the culture we want for our employees.
So, but I find this fascinating because basically what you're saying is, what I'm hearing, not just in the tech sector, but from everyone, is that there is no right answer. That you've got a spectrum of different organizations that are taking very different approaches. And so for those companies who are thinking about going down this the more hybrid or the more remote working approach, what are they doing to try to protect and enhance culture? And you mentioned the fintech companies looking to bring people together once a quarter, but what are other people doing? Have they got an answer?
Yeah, I think it's too early to tell, quite honestly, Chris. I think the focus on culture and maintaining that work environment, not just work environment, but everything that goes into culture is critical to them. So you'll hear organizations, I think Microsoft is one, not the only, really saying, hey, we're focused on moments that matter. We're not quite sure yet what those moments are. We don't have all the data. We're going to play it forward and see how it goes as we give people a lot more flexibility. I'd put Microsoft right in the middle. Maybe on the slightly more progressive end on what they've said. They're going to, they're allowing business units to make decisions. They're allowing managers to make decisions in some cases. They're not necessarily saying everybody has to be in there at least twice, 3 times a week. That's an option. So it'll be interesting to see what the data shows for them. I think others are jumping straight to, well, the data is what we already know. We need people back in here. We'll give them some flexibility, not as much as perhaps they've had. And that's probably right for some employees. It may not be right for all employees. So I think it's still to be determined would be the short answer.
So, Ben, what I've heard from this is there is no single approach to going back to the office. Some people are going to go back full time, some people hybrid, some fully remote, and that people are going to be experimenting with what they can do in order to maintain their culture and to grow their culture. And probably the most important factor right now is agility and having an open mind and trying to learn from what people are seeing with the data. And so on that note, I guess, Ben, I'd love it if you and I could catch up again in a few months' time to see how things have progressed and what people have learned as we're reopening the whole concept of going back to a physical workplace.
Yeah, Chris would love to. I think it'll be a fascinating few months because we don't really know how it's going to play out. I think there's going to be, looking at data, like we said, and really see what's working and what's not. I think there is a risk for some employers who think we can go back to the old way, granted with a little more flexibility, but some of their employees have gotten really used to not commuting. Maybe I can live somewhere else. Some absolutely want to come back tomorrow. But others, there's going to be a flight risk for some employers that maybe aren't used to having that issue.
Ben, absolutely fascinating. Thank you very much for joining me.
You bet. Take care, Chris.